Hi, this is Brandon Spilley from thirstgym.com. Today we're talking about an exercise called the front squat. This is a fantastic squat option you can use in your programs for athletic performance, strength conditioning, your personal training clients. It's just a really good lower body exercise. I will say that usually for most people there are a little bit of mobility restrictions, namely in the lats and in the shoulders, being able to get in that front rack position, and we'll show you how to work around that if you really want to be able to do the front squat in your training program. So I personally like using just a power bar for this. For me, if you're an Olympic weightlifter and somebody competes in weightlifting, use a weightlifting bar. But you're going to get a barbell, put it in a rack, and have it about shoulder height, give or take. So we're going to rack it here in the front rack position, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. So normally I'm going to face this way, but I'm going to face this way so I can talk to you here. When you go to set up your front rack position, I like to try to make sure that my hands are going to be outside my shoulders, okay, so they're outside shoulder width, and that I want to be able to bring my elbows up good and high like I'm going to shoot somebody. So the best way that I've learned this front rack position is that if my elbows are guns, I got to be able to shoot somebody in front of me. So we don't want them down because then we're shooting the ground, right? So we got to be able to get them up here in a good high position. In the front rack position, we don't have to keep our hands locked on the bar like this. We can just let it sit in our fingers. That will be sufficient enough in a good quality front rack position for the bar to just be able to sit there and be comfortable. So I know I personally put my ring fingers on the rings here. I go to get underneath it, I put one arm and then the other, find my position. There's my front rack position right there. So notice that my elbows are up. I'm kind of shrugging up into the bar, so I've got a good quality rack. I'm not letting it sit down here on my chest, okay? I'm gonna keep it up here, good and tall, okay? So that's the front rack position. If you can't do the mobility, say the mobility is a problem, you're old, banged up, but you still want a front squat, we can go with the cross setup here. We can take one arm across, one arm over, come here. I like to grab the bar like I'm doing a hook grip. If I'm gonna do that option, then I'm here and I'm good to unrack the bar and move forward. The big thing here, just like with the other position, we got to make sure that our elbows are straight out in front of us, okay? You can also certainly be here if you really wanted to. I've seen people front squat like this. The other option is you can take straps and hold on to straps here as well, or you can buy like a front squat harness. So there's lots of ways to work around it. I still think the front rack position is the preferred method to overall work on that shoulder mobility, just being in a more athletic position, especially if you're working with athletes and you're teaching them how to clean. Get them to front squat with that front rack position, because if you want them to work on catching their cleans, this is no better way to work on that positioning all the way down the bottom and building that confidence. But once you've got that, we're going to get set up here. We're going to walk the weight out. I'm going to make sure as I go down, drive my elbows up high the whole time, and then I'm going to try to lead with my chest coming out of the bottom. I'm going to stay strong on my heels, my whole foot. I'm going to be here. Shrug up in the bar to unrack it. Step out. Make sure my feet are about hip width, give or take, a little bit wider, toes slightly turned out. I'm going to shrug up into the barbell, that way it stays in good position. I'm going to break at the hips and the knees. My hips are going to go straight down in between my ankles. Break 90 degrees, back up. If you also are somebody that has some ankle mobility issues and hip mobility issues, you can also look at Olympic weightlifting shoes to give you a little bit of a heel raise. That feels a lot better for most people. I know personally for me, I choose to wear them as well. If you're an Olympic lifter, I would just get in the habit of training with them because you're probably going to compete in them anyways. But if you happen to be limited on that, or you're training in a commercial gym or something like that, you can use 5 or 10 pound plates to put underneath your heels as well to be able to apply more foot pressure. And basically what that does, that allows you to sit your hips and shift your gravity, or I'm sorry, your center of mass in your body forward, so when the gravity's coming straight down, you're in a good position here rather than trying to be extended. You can actually apply some foot pressure and get everything to shift a little bit, and that's going to let you go down lower a little bit as well. This is definitely more of a strength-based exercise. So, I mean, majority of the times you're going to see these done for reps of 1 to 6. You can take these for big singles, doubles, triples. You can do standard 5s and 6s. You're not going to see them a whole lot for 8s and 10s. I think you're just better off doing goblet squats and things like that. If you're trying to get some hypertrophy, you by all means can, depending upon what your goals are. But I think for the most part, this lends itself more as a good strength-based exercise than necessarily trying to work on the hypertrophy side, but you can make a case for it. So knowing that, it could be anywhere from just a couple singles, all the way up to 5-5, 6x3, something like that. Usually I think somewhere between 10 and 20 bar lifts is a good place to be with a lot of your big compounds. So that might be something you keep in mind as well when you're programming this. But that is the front squat, an awesome lower body exercise, great for just making sure you're in a good athletic position. I think it's the premier way to get athletes to squat and build a really bad athlete, as well as an awesome personal training client. So if you got any questions, feel free to leave in the comment section. Thanks. Have a great day.